July 2023. We're going to look at the Heal Yourself cards. Now, what's interesting with these cards is I just got these yesterday. They had no booklet in them. This is them. Okay. Does anybody know why there's no booklet in this? Because I've looked these up and they're meant to come with a booklet. And yet the box just barely fits the cards. So I don't know what's going on there. So we have to use our intuition and use our psychic center, our middle eye, the blue pearl at the back, around where your pituitary gland is. And we have to trust ourselves and trust that we know the meanings. We know what these cards are going to mean. Personally, that's my favorite way to read. The book is only ever meant to be a guide. You're meant to trust your gut, trust your heart, trust your feelings on such things. Okay, my camera has gone wobbly. So, I just recorded the July energy forecast for the next 3 weeks. You might want to watch that because this is a part 2 of that video. So July, and I'm connecting with my subscribers. This reading is for my subscribers only. Those of you who like and subscribe and share the love as I share the love and light with you. Okay. Okay. I'm going to put them in the order they came out. So, we got number 8, procrastination. These pictures are so raw and beautiful. That's pretty self-explanatory. Where have you been procrastinating? What have you been procrastinating on? What is it that you need to do, you need to take action on that you've been neglecting? It's time to stop procrastinating. There's also something about a black cat I'm getting. Somebody has a beautiful black cat that's going back into spirit. The cat wants you to know, the angels want you to know that the cat's ready to go back. Wants to go back to source, but loves you deeply. Selling out. Ooh. Selling out. So, how are you selling out? What are you doing that you know is lowering your self-worth, lowering your self-respect? Where do you need to put more boundaries in place? Where do you need to walk away from something? Perhaps you're partaking in activities or behaviors that simply don't celebrate who you really are. Maybe your boss asked you to do extra work or extra hours or to do something in your job that just doesn't jive with you. Don't sell out. Do not sell out on yourself. And it kind of ties in with this number 19. It's temptation. Temptation. So you can see that there's this kind of shadowy figure pulling her in. She's being seduced by the dark side. Where are you being tempted to sell out and procrastinate? How are you being tempted not to honor your heart's true desires? Perhaps your temptations are around addiction or behaviors you know that are not good for you. You're being asked to address that now by this card coming up. These cards are pretty tough. When I opened them yesterday, I was like, initially I pulled some lovely cards, and then as I looked through them, I was like, wow, these are hard hitters. Like, they're like a tough love, they're going to be very direct with the messages. There's no sugarcoating fluffy angel stuff with these pay attention to signs number 10. Pay attention to signs. So you're being guided, you're being shown, you're being asked to look at the synchronicities, the subtle signs around you, and to act upon them. And with Venus going retrograde, there will be lots of angel signs, synchronicities, intuitive knowings in how to handle things or what to do or what to say. And there will be deep conversations with people. Like I said, if you make sure if you haven't watched the previous video, because we talk a lot more in depth about the retrograde and the energy, the cosmic energy in the next 2 to 3 weeks is pretty wild, okay? Which brings me to my next card, Wild. Actually, really like this. Wild. So when I was asked to give this year a title, my angels call this the Year of the Wild. And she's just following her heart. It's like she's crept out during the night and she's like, I need to follow my passion. And she's got the lantern lit, so she's got the light. She's following the light. She's following the higher power. She's following and trusting her wild nature. Now, wild, the word wild has been given a bad connotation, okay? The angels are not talking about wild as in reckless. No. We're not talking about recklessness, okay? The word wild has been abused. Wild as in your truth, your true instincts, your innate self, your gut reactions, your intuitive promptings, your hunches, your nature, your true nature, the truth of who you are, your soul, your soulful self. Your soul is a wild thing. It can't be conditioned or cultured or manipulated or socially molded. It's a wild thing. And I remember I channeled this, one of my favorite poems that I wrote, and it's called Let the Wild Things Grow. Because that's what you need to do. You need to let those wild things grow. So let's pull a few more and see. They were pretty. Whew, I ain't messing around, the angels now. This is more kind of tough love angel guidance with these Heal Yourself cards. But yeah, if anyone knows about the booklet or where I could get the booklet, would be cool. I did look it up, but you have to buy the whole set with the cards. I don't want to buy the cards again. Just very strange, you know. It was never opened up a deck of cards and nothing. So just curious. But at the same time, I think they're very, very direct. So it's not like we need further explanation. But sometimes it can be nice just to read something. Oh, okay. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Sadness. And I got this yesterday when I opened them. I was like, I got beauty and I got sadness and I got love. So you can see she's really sad. Venus retrograde is going to bring up any sadness, especially in your heart, connected to your romantic life. It will bring up needs or desires you've had to flesh out romance or personal relationships that perhaps didn't work or that you feel you've never had the chance to really experience. I notice with a lot of young people there's a lack of physical interaction and physical relationships. I don't mean physical as in sexual, I mean really spending time, you know. It's I notice a lot of people like in their mid-20s come to me and they have never had a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or, you know, their lives are very obsessed with work and money and chasing that, and there's this deep emptiness inside their souls to connect, but they're not really getting to experience that. or they're afraid to experience it. Now, help from above. Okay, this is nice. This is a bit gentler. This is lovely. Something to do with the harp as well for some of you. And there's a full moon in the background. So maybe some of you on the next full moon are going to have a release of some kind, or release that sadness, or get help and assistance in coping with that sadness. And another way to deal with intense emotions is to unleash your creativity. Okay. And I definitely feel this. I'm really feeling the need to be creative and to be quiet and to paint and to make and to get the jewelry out and start making jewelry. And there's a strong creative breeze since June that's just carried on through this year. It's just lovely. Now, some of you, there's going to be love reignited. And it could be somebody you're meeting for the first time in this life, but you actually know them from previous lifetimes. There's a deep soul connection with that person. So there is love available to you. And you've got that right next to soulmate. It's a beautiful card. Soulmate. She can feel him around her, even though he's not physically there. And I just got a message that for somebody, their soulmate transitioned back to source not that long ago. And that soulmate's around you like this. That's a very important message for someone. That soulmate is getting into bed at night and wrapping their arms around you and loving you and telling you, I know you miss me, everything's going to be okay. But for others, the next few weeks is going to highlight who they love. They're going to have a clear idea about who they actually love when they go in and do the Venus retrograde reflection and reevaluation. And they'll also know more about their soulmate, who their soulmate actually is, or maybe just getting clear about what you actually want in a soulmate now versus what you wanted 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And then finally we have courage. If you're going to have this love of your life, if you're going to meet the soulmate, if you're going to stop procrastinating and you're going to release your sadness, you need to have courage. Courage is one of the most important virtues, and it is a virtue, but it's also a practice. Confidence grows from doing. We have to do to grow strong and confident. Do you think the first time I got up to teach a group, I was full of confidence? No, I was shaking. My voice was trembling. I was shy. I was quiet. I was insecure, but I had courage. I went down in there and I had a good look around and eventually pulled out some courage, and then I was fine. Because when we're authentic and when we're doing what we're meant to do and we're sharing our gifts with the world, once we use the courage to get going, we'll be fine. And we will have that help from above when we have the courage to follow our soul's dreams and desires. But we also need courage when it comes to love, and we need courage when it comes to going after somebody we love and expressing that. So maybe you need the courage to tell someone, look, I love you. I know you think we're just hanging out or we're just friends, or maybe you just need to express that. And with the Leo energy coming in over the next few weeks, you will be more expressive. Some people are going to be more talkative, which depends on who they are, if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But you will notice people will want to engage in more emotional toned relationship or conversations about relationships and about the empathy they have for the person they're sharing that with, but also having that deep empathy for yourself and being able to actually tune into yourself and not always tuning into other people. So that's the cards for July. We are, like I said in the previous part 1 video, we have been in a somewhat of a sweet spot or a peaceful time. Even though there's changes happening and life is certainly moving forward, it has been pretty stable, but I do see that the next few weeks will ruffle some people's feathers. You may have to step outside your comfort zone to do the things that's suggested with the guidance you're receiving. But know that ultimately there is a season and a time for things, and it's the right time to say what you got to say, to get something off your chest. There will be a lot of conversations between you and people from your past, where you'll get to say something that's been in your heart. You'll get to say something that you've been carrying in your heart for a while. And for some people that will be closure, and there'll be sadness and release with that closure. And for other people, it will be a new beginning. So I was saying in the previous video the things not to do during a Venus retrograde. Well, often in Venus retrogrades, what is, I was going to say allowed, but that's so silly because anything is allowed. We're all free will beings here. But people often find themselves reuniting with somebody from their past that they were never meant to stay apart with forever. They were meant to get back together. So that can happen. And you might hear of people during this time as well. You might hear of people who you thought their marriage, they were going to get divorced, and they decided, you know what, no, we love each other. We're going to work on this. But you'll also hear of a lot of people getting closure and completing a cycle and moving forward. So that's what I have for you. If you enjoyed this video part 2, make sure you watch part 1, and please give me a thumbs up and share the light, because it does encourage me to keep doing these. Thank you so much.